Hi everyone, and welcome to today's live General IELTS class. To kick off the week, we are looking at a Task 1 General Letter Writing question and example. My name is Adrian, and I am broadcasting to you live from Budapest. Hopefully everybody is having a great day so far. Hi Afsana, hi Kyber, hi Jiao Jay. Good to see so many students in class. As usual, our materials, they come from our websites, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS, and academic IELTS is aehelp.com, where we help hundreds, if not thousands, of students each day improve their English, improve their IELTS band scores, and reach their dreams of moving, working, and studying in foreign countries. All right, just a quick peek at those websites again. gieltshelp.com, it's this one with the green background. Click that big red button, join our premium course, learn the right skills, pass IELTS, stop stressing about it. Academic IELTS, this one here, blue background, aehelp.com, aehelp.com, click that red button there. All right, so let's get back to it here. You can get our books, exam books, 6 original exams from Amazon. Search for GE Helps General IELTS or AE Helps Academic IELTS. If you have questions about IELTS, comments, concerns, feel free to send me an email. Adrian, that's my name, Adrian, at gieltshelp.com. That's Adrian at gieltshelp.com. Here's our schedule, students. Please take note of this for the next few weeks. Hi, Happy Justwal. Thanks for the greeting. Hi, Shehaz Gill. All right, here's our schedule. So live streaming is from Wednesday to Saturday, 13:30 to 14:30 Central European Time for General IELTS, and 15 to 16 o'clock Central European Time for Academic IELTS on our Academic English Help channel. Today we're doing Task 1, email. Tomorrow we will look at an example speaking part 3. We will practice that and some strategies. Then general reading on Friday. A Task 2, causes and solutions on Saturday. And then no classes Sunday to Tuesday. We will release some new HD videos for you on those days. And then back on the 6th with some more lessons. And then, of course, 6th to the 9th, we have lessons. And 13th to the 16th, some more lessons there. You can always check back, look at the beginning of this video this time, which is at 3 minutes, and find this schedule. Okay, I'm doing great, MD Shohidullah. Thank you for asking. Here we go with our Task 1 question. Writing Task 1. General IELTS, it's different for writing Task 1. If you're an academic IELTS student, you should not worry about this Task 1 as it is different for you. General IELTS students, you need to know this, okay? So the writing section, students, it's the third section of your sit-down exam. First is listening, then comes reading, and after that comes writing. You have to be prepared that your brain is already a little bit tired, okay? As you're getting closer to your exam day, a really important strategy to practice for writing in English for your IELTS exam is do reading before you start writing, okay? Sometimes students, what they do is they're practicing IELTS at home. They have a really fresh mind. They just woke up. They're feeling great. They had a cup of joe, which means some coffee. And then they write a Task 1 and they write a Task 2 and they get a good mark and they're like, yeah, I'm doing awesome. And that's great. So do that. But, okay, but, remember, the IELTS will not feel the same because you have 1 hour of listening and 1 hour of reading before you get to the writing. So your brain's more exhausted, okay? You have to practice that situation at home. You have to simulate that. So I highly, highly suggest doing practice tests before you sit the IELTS, and also do reading before you do writing. So this is just a tip, okay? When you practice for IELTS at home, do at least a half hour of reading before you write a task 1 and or task 2 essay. Okay, this helps simulate the mental fatigue that you will experience during your real test. Okay, so it's important to do that. All right. Okay, so that's just a really nice tip to consider, especially as you're getting closer to the exam date. Okay. Now let's look at our writing task 1 question for today. You should spend about 20 minutes on the task. It's worth 1/3 of your writing mark. So spend 1/3 of the time, which is 20 minutes. Okay. Don't spend more. Spend 40 minutes on task 2. And you have to write at least 150 words. Okay, so you see that here at the bottom. Write at least 150 words. So make sure you write at least 150 words. Okay. Students, is this font big enough? So can you see it clearly with this font size, or should I make it bigger? I know some of you are looking at these lessons on your mobile phone. So I just want to make sure it's clear for everyone. If it's not clear, if you want a bigger font, let me know. If there's enough people requesting, I can do that. All right. So here we go. You noticed, this is the question. First, it gives you a situation. You notice that cars are driving too fast near the playground next to your house. Write a letter to City Hall. In your letter, explain the situation clearly. Describe why this worries you. Suggest possible solutions. Write at least 150 words. You do not need to write any addresses. Okay, great. So here we're writing a letter to the City Hall or local government about our concern that cars are driving fast near a playground to our home, and that obviously is not a good situation. So, okay, thanks Afsana and Sahil for letting me know that it's clear. Sabina says a little bit bigger font. Okay, Sabina, if you think a little bit bigger is going to help you, we can do that. Okay, so let's go for size 16. Okay, a little bit bigger font. There you go. All right, hopefully that's better. Okay, so again, this is a little bit of a review from last week. So remember that task 1 is a narrative style writing, which basically means storytelling. And it's first person. So you use I, me, my. Okay. And I wonder how many students, I know a few of you, Khyber, Afsana, a few others, Sarah, Muataz, watch these classes regularly. Did you research narrative writing and what is good narrative writing? To improve Task 1 band scores, what I suggest, this is another tip for you, is on your own time, because we could spend a lot of time just on this, research good narrative writing techniques or good narrative writing skills, okay? Do a Google research on that, and I promise that you will learn some interesting points and skills that will help you to improve your narrative writing or your task 1 writing. Okay, so here's a Googling tip. Google good narrative writing skills and points. Okay, for task 1. General IELTS, okay? Academic is expository writing, so it's different. Right, so Google that, good narrative writing skills, okay? Note that. It will give you, so you should find some websites and some pages that will give you some really important points about narrative writing, and some of them will include, you will see with examples, use colorful sensory language. Okay. Use qualitative and quantitative language. Use lots of descriptive language. And I'll explain these, don't worry. Descriptive language, adjective clauses, if we're thinking grammar. Okay. So sensory language, what is that? It's a good question. Humans have 5 senses. What are they? What are the 5 human senses? Students? Let's see how many of you are paying close attention to my ramblings, advice, suggestions. Afsana says vision is 1. Yes, absolutely. Sahil says smell. A sense of smell is the other. Absolutely. Hearing, Afsana, correct. Taste is another one. And the 5th one, Apisha, good to see you in class, is touch, right? Touch. So that's our 5 senses. And we have a lot of language, of course, which is developed around those 5 senses. Okay. So just before we begin our writing here, an example of the 5 senses is every morning I hear the engines of cars roar past my window as commuters speed to get to their workplace. Okay, so remember our task 1 question here is we're writing a letter to our city hall, our government, that people are driving too fast by the playground next to our house. Now I'm telling you that task 1 is a narrative style writing where you're telling a story, okay? A letter is one type of story. And one of the important techniques for good narrative writing, good storytelling, is using sensory language. Sensory language, to recapitulate, is sight or vision, smell, taste, they're closely associated, hearing, and touch, okay? So when I'm expressing to the government worker my experience in the situation, I can use this type of sensory language. Every morning I hear the engines of cars roar past my window as commuters speed to get to their workplace. So here, when a reader reads this, we can sympathize, and we may be able to hear in our ears the vroom roar of those engines as they fly past this playground, okay? So that's the kind of language that will get you points. They will get you band scores, all right? Okay, now, of course, the adjective clauses are using which for objects or who for people. So people who are not paying attention to the street signs should be slowed by speed bumps. Okay, speed bumps may be new vocabulary for some of you. Speed bumps in English refer to those bumps on the road that the cars have to drive over. And of course, people slow down when they drive over those speed bumps because if they don't, then they will go flying and they will damage their car. So that's called a speed bump in English. Okay, they're not speed breakers, they're speed bumps. Now I'm giving you North American, Canadian, and American English. I'm not sure if British call it something different, but Americans, Canadians, speed bumps. Okay, speed bumps, not breakers, speed bumps. All right, students, how many paragraphs should task 1 be? So how many individual paragraphs are we looking at for task 1 letter writing? But that's some good quantitative language. Yeah, that's right, sir. That's right, Rajai. Abhishek, 3. So first, what's included in the first paragraph? Okay, so this is obviously structure. 3 paragraphs. Number 1, what do we include? So, yeah, that's right, Afsana. So introduce yourself and introduce the purpose of your letter. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, sometimes students ask me, what if it asks email? It's still the same. Email, letter, same. What is the second paragraph about? So, yep, I'm happy to see that many of you now are very clear about this. P good, Pachu good. So, Afsana says it's the problem or the solution. If it's a problem or solution, it's the situation, right? It's the explanation of the situation. And narratives, you'll usually find that narrative writing will often have a beginning, a middle, and end. Okay, so it will structure around this concept of having a beginning to what you're saying, a middle to what you're saying, and an end to what you're saying. In a common story situation, it's introduction of characters, then it's content, events, climax, and then the anticlimax. So getting into the exciting height of the story and then the conclusion. Okay, and then the third, so what should be in the third? All right, we'll go through all of these as we write this example task 1. I just want to make sure that you're on the same page and you're keeping these important points in mind when you're practicing at home. Okay, Shanzai says the third one should be the solution or the action. Or maybe Shanzai, so you're saying that that should be in the second one as well? Yeah, it could be in the third. It's to be more general, it's the conclusion. Okay, and it's a summary of points, maybe an added point, a final word, and maybe some request for feedback. Okay, so request for communication back. So those are the 3 parts of the essay. Okay, so let's start off our letter. Okay, again, here's the question one more time. The question, students, you can also see it in the stream description. I've put it into the video description. So again, you noticed that cars are driving too fast near the playground next to your house. Write a letter to City Hall. In your letter, explain the situation clearly. Describe why this worries you. Suggest possible solutions. Okay, so usually the instructions are start your letter with the word dear. Okay, and then after dear, you need to put some kind of a title. Okay, you don't know the name of the person, so you will put something else. In this case, what can I put? How can I start it? A lot of people say, dear sir or madam. It's very simple, and all of your other students will start it that way. If you can be a little bit more specific and unique, it's better. Okay? So remember, you're writing a letter to City Hall. Okay, so Afsana says, dear mayor. Yeah, Afsana, that's better. That's definitely better than sir or madam. So you could say, dear mayor. Sure, that's a good one. Okay, any other suggestions? Instead of dear city council. Very good, Pachu. So Pachu says instead of mayor, say dear city council, because you might not be able to get in touch with the mayor. Usually a busy person. So dear city council. That's good too. Okay, that'll work. Any other? Dear counselor, that would be okay as well. Jakir, just be careful with your spellings. There's obviously American, British spelling differences on some of these words, so that's okay. Sure. Or dear city official. Okay. Or even more specific, dear traffic control. Because dear traffic control is very clear for whom you're writing the letter, right? Dear traffic control. They're probably at the city hall, one of the departments. So that will work. Okay, all of those are better than just saying dear sir or madam, all right? Okay, good. So as we just said, introduce yourself and purpose of the letter. Give me some example sentences, students, for how we can begin this letter, and I will correct what you write, and I will also write an American, I will also write my own example. I was reading Kyber's comment there. So I will also write my own example. Write the example. Introduce yourself and the purpose of your letter. So introduce yourself and the purpose of your letter. Munzir, dear traffic superintendent is very good. It's a very nice title to start with, okay? High-level vocabulary, bada bing, bada boom. Munzir, you're showing the IELTS examiner that, hey, look, I'm a Band 8, Band 9 level student. No, I'm not playing around. I'm starting with dear traffic superintendent, all right? Perfect. Very nice, Munzir. Thank you for that. Traffic superintendent, by the way, students, is the person who is in charge of controlling traffic in the city. Okay? Very specific vocabulary. All right. Yes, Kyber's saying that colon in the US and comma. In Canada, we use the comma as well, Kyber. Okay, so write your first sentence. Okay, I'm doing the same, but I'm not reading it aloud because I don't want to distract you from your own thoughts. So your goal here is to write your example sentence like Abhishek has done. Good job, Abhishek. I'm writing to inform you about the problem of fast vehicles passing by our area. Okay, Abhishek, before the purpose, introduce who you are. It's better to introduce who you are first, Abhishek, is number one, and then the purpose. So who are you? What's your purpose? Keep that in mind. But otherwise, it's a good start, Abhishek, for your second sentence. Okay? Dilpreet, that's good. I'm from Green Colony, Brisbane, City of Australia. Dilpreet, now remember, you're writing to your city hall, not your national government. So Dilpreet, you'd want to make it more specific. I'm from something street on the west side of Brisbane. You don't need to say Australia because obviously City Hall knows that you're in Australia, or hoping. And so you need to be a little bit more specific. Okay? Okay, I'm going to keep writing, keep putting up your examples. Now, this is the first time I'm doing it too, so it's fair game. I'm doing it the same as you. All right? Okay, I can see some example sentences coming up. That's great. Okay. Let me just read a couple of them. Give me a moment, students, and then we'll keep going here. All right. So Rekha says, I'm a resident of your area writing this letter to bring to your attention one of the serious issues of fast driving. Okay. When you start your letter, students, remember your critical thinking. What, why, how? Why am I writing this letter? Because there's a safety concern. It's a hazard. It's dangerous. Okay. So the problem isn't the fast cars, or how can I say this? Just simply driving quickly in itself is not a problem. The problem is that it's near a playground, which creates danger. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right. All right. So Rekha, I'm a resident of your area writing this letter to bring to your attention a serious safety issue near my home, and then explain, Rekha. So go step by step. Manzir, I am a local resident of Al Amamra Street, writing to express my grave concern about the absence of safety crossing near the playground. Manzir, don't change the intent of the question. I'm not sure if you saw the question, but you're concerned about cars driving too fast near the playground, not about the traffic lights or the crosswalk. So make sure you stay on the same topic and controlling idea. Okay, it's important. All right. Prashil Balusu says, I am a localite and writing to let you know that I'm unhappy with the current situation of the traffic near the playground. Prashil, really nice. Okay, that's good. That's a great start. Nice, clean English, natural, fantastic. Nita says, I'm the resident of Blue Apartments in Ulama Street in Azizia district. I would like to fetch your attention. Not fetch your attention, Nita. I haven't heard that expression. I would like to bring your attention towards a serious traffic issue. Okay? Good, Nita. All right? Good. Good. Maybe British, some British people say fetch. I know the meaning of fetch, but I don't think it works, Nita, in that context. So I would like to bring your attention towards, okay? Not a big mistake, though. It's understandable. Okay, so if I didn't catch your first sentence, don't worry. I'll try to catch it in the next round. Here's my example. So, dear traffic control, I'm a local resident on 36 Pine Avenue. There's that quantitative language. So, the numbers, right? 36 Pine Avenue. The avenue should be capital as well. Maybe some of you caught that. Just across from Windsor Park. Park should be capital as well because it's part of the name. And I'm writing to inform you of a safety hazard for children, pets, and adults who use the playground. There's that visual information. So I don't just say people, but I specify children. So I want the traffic superintendent to see these small children playing. They're in danger. Pets, oh no, somebody's dog is going to get hit by one of those fast-moving vehicles. And adults who use the playground. Simply put, cars are driving extremely fast near the park, especially near the park. Okay, let's just keep it there. Let's not put anything else in the introductory paragraph, because this is just the introduction. I was going to write especially during the morning and evening hours before and after work, but I can save that for the body paragraph. So let's go into our second body paragraph now. Okay, so let's start the second body paragraph. So let's start the story. Now, before we start writing, we can make up a story here, okay? And it's good to think before you write. Very, very important tip for writing and speaking in IELTS and in general is think before writing and think before speaking. So, Abhi Jaswal, you don't have to say, let me explain the situation. You're already doing that, okay? So don't waste too many words, Abhi, on information that doesn't really, or words that don't really give information, okay? So let's have a story. So remember what I said here. The explanation or the big part of the paragraph has to have a beginning, middle, and an end. Okay, so here, let's give a beginning, middle, and end to the story. So what's the beginning of my story? Hello, new person with the Cyrillic name. I'm sorry I can't read Cyrillic, but I'm motivated to learn to read Cyrillic because I have so many students with Cyrillic names. So what's the beginning of our story? How can I begin my story explaining to the mayor, city councilor, traffic superintendent of the situation? What's the beginning? Not the prashil, so not the phrase. So Pachu says, children are playing with their friends in the playground. Shanzai says, firstly, I would like to bring your attention that there's no traffic signs to warn drivers about the park and the speed. Okay, so sure. Sure, that's great. Okay, so that's the beginning. Okay. Okay, Abhishek says there's an incident that happened near the playground last week when a fast-moving car hit a cat. Sure, that would be the middle of the story for me. Okay. Okay, and what's the end of the story? So good, all right? This is what you need to do. Beginning, middle, and end. What's the end of your story? So far, so good. So that's how you put it together. Again, visualize, and you've done a good job. So the beginning is there are no signs showing that there is a park there, or the sign's not visible, it's not properly maintained. You can figure that out. You can get creative. But the important point is that you know that your story starts with there's a lack of attention to controlling the speed in the area. The middle is there was an incident, a bad incident with fast-moving cars. What's the finish of the story? A solution, sure. So Abhishek says there should be speed bumps, there should be new signs, maybe even a traffic light, a crosswalk that should be put in there. Okay, so solutions. I'm going to keep that small. Okay, and police enforcement. Maybe you can suggest that for at least a few weeks, police should be stationed there to warn drivers and to check people's speed. Yeah, traffic police. Absolutely, Abhishek. Good. So that is your beginning, middle, and end to your story. Now that you have that, you should have no problem writing the 80 or 90 words to express those thoughts. Okay, so let's do that together now. So let's go with the beginning. Again, use complex language, use quantitative language. Okay, I have been living at this residence for the past 2 years, and during this time there have been several concerning incidences. Firstly, I would like to point out that there is an absence of street signs which clearly show commuters, drivers of the speed limit and the nearby playground. Okay. Just 2 weeks ago, one of my neighbor's cats was run over because the commuter couldn't slow their car. Okay, so something like that. All right. Prashil Balusu says, let me explain the situation. The mere concern here is the speed at which the vehicles are driven. Okay. Prashil, you're trying to use the passive voice in your first sentence, but it's better to use the active voice. Use drivers are going too fast in the area. Active voice is usually better than passive voice. And if you do use passive voice, Prashil, make sure you use it correctly. So let me explain the situation. The major concern here is the speed at which the vehicles are driven. Yeah, sorry, Prashil, I read it again. It's fine, okay? Since this is near a playground, caution is required, and this is not taken. So there has to be a speed limit set. Okay, good. Yeah, Prashil, that's good. All right, you're on the right track. Slow their car. This was extremely unfortunate, and it must be avoided in the future. For this to happen, I strongly recommend speed signs that slow vehicle operators to no more than 30 kilometers per hour. In addition, for the safety of children, speed bumps ought to be constructed on the surrounding streets. Okay, so all of that. So now we're going into the end of our story. All right, I'll keep reading your suggestions, so don't be shy. I'm just moving along here. Saurabh Kumar says, if there would be speed bumps and indication of red lights, Saurabh Kumar, good. If there would be speed bumps and traffic lights, it would be better for both local residents and authorities. So it's traffic lights is the words, or are the words that you're looking for, Saurabh Kumar. And good use of the conditional, so using your complex sentences, if there would be. Now, I would use real condition, Saurabh, in this case. It's stronger when you're suggesting. So instead of using an unreal condition, like if there would be speed bumps and traffic lights, I would use a real condition. When there are speed bumps and traffic lights installed, it is safer and better for residents as well as authorities. Okay, so if, or when, sorry, real condition, when there will be speed bumps and traffic lights installed, it will be better for both residents and authorities. Okay, until then, until this time, I highly suggest stationing, okay, that's a verb here, stationing traffic police on the corner of Pine and Pine Avenue and 2nd Street, just make up the names, to warn and penalize speeders. Okay, good. So moving along nicely. Now remember that it's 150 words minimum, so we're doing pretty good here so far, all right? We probably want to wrap this up now with our final paragraph, all right? Abhi says there could be volunteer traffic controllers as well. Absolutely, Abhi Jaswal. It's another good suggestion, and it's colorful. Pachu Yadav says a sign should be put there which shows a violation penalty of having to pay 5,000 rials for speeders. Absolutely, good use of quantitative language, Pachu. I'm really happy to see that so many students are thinking well on how to get these high IELTS band scores by using colorful, quantitative, descriptive language. Excellent. Good work. Okay, good work. All right. Let's finish up the essay. Now, if you have a minute, before you write the conclusion and the summary to your essay, it's often a good idea to read your essay quickly just to make sure you haven't made any big mistakes. So that's my third tip for today. Okay, my tip number 1 is here. You can review that later for those of you who missed it. Tip number 2 is here. And tip number 3 is before you write your conclusion, read your letter. This will help you catch bad mistakes, which change meaning. Look for those ones first. And give you a better idea of what to write for the conclusion. Okay? Shouldn't take you long. It's only 150 words. Don't get lost. Try to read it nice and smooth. Okay? Here we go. Dear Traffic Control, I'm a local resident on 36 Pine Avenue, just across from Windsor Park, and I'm writing to inform you of a safety hazard for children, pets, and adults who use the playground. Simply put, cars are driving extremely fast near the park. I have been living in this residence for the past 2 years, and during this time there have been several concerning incidences. Firstly, I would like to point out that there's an absence of street signs which clearly shows drivers the speed limit and the nearby playground. Just 2 weeks ago, one of my neighbor's cats was run over because the commuter couldn't slow their car. This was extremely unfortunate, and it must be avoided in the future. For this to happen, I strongly recommend speed signs that slow vehicle operators to no more than 30 kilometers per hour. In addition, for the safety of children, speed bumps ought to be constructed on the surrounding streets. When there will be speed bumps and traffic lights installed, it will be better for both residents and authorities. Until this time, I highly suggest stationing traffic police on the corner of Pine Avenue and 2nd Street to warn and penalize speeders. Okay, now I can write my conclusion. Okay, what can be my conclusion? So having read this information, what would be a good way, 1 or 2 sentences, to finish this essay, or sorry, well, it's a type of essay, this letter, to effectively convince the mayor or the traffic authorities, the traffic superintendent, to take action? Okay, so what would be a good way? A commuter means a person, Afsana, who's going to and from work or school. Abhishek says, in the end, I appeal to the authorities to please look into this matter seriously before any incidences occur which may harm residents or pets in the area. Yeah, Abhishek, it's not bad. It's a little bit simple, and I wouldn't start Abhishek with in the end because it's not an end here. The end is when the street signs are there and when the speed bumps are built, so that might be the end, but this is definitely not the end yet. Thank you for your consideration, Abhijaswal. It's a little bit too simple. It's too cliche. Cliche means everybody's using it. So I would be a little bit more forward, a little bit more convincing here. Okay, write down what you think, and I'll keep looking. Okay, so let's see. Abhi Jaswal says, thank you for your consideration, and I hope all the positive steps will be taken in the future to avoid harm to children and the community. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Abhi, that's better. This is what I wrote. I strongly urge you to take action as soon as possible to avoid serious tragedy. I look forward to your reply and appreciate your mission to safeguard our precious community. Okay, so that's the way that I sign off. Okay. Nida Ilham says, thus, I'm expecting you to take immediate action by installing these lights. You've already said that, Nida, so making the appropriate changes would be better. So thus, I'm expecting you to take immediate action by making the appropriate changes. Your timely attention to this matter is appreciated. Okay. Prashil Balusu says, would you kindly consider this? So please consider this. I would start it that way, Prashil. So please consider this high priority and take the required measures at the earliest so that no further damage or tragedy occurs. Prashil, that's good. That's much better, okay? It's much more specific. Looking forward to hearing from you, or looking forward to the changes, because of course, if some people come out and put in new signs and build a speed bump, obviously your letter had an effect, right? So Pachu says, as you are representative of our community, I would be very grateful if you could manage this safety concern at your earliest convenience. That's good as well, Pachu. Notice my corrections. And then here, you can absolutely sign off by saying sincerely, because you're being very sincere. So sincerely, make sure you know the meaning of words like sincerely, in best regards. Sincerely, Adrian. Okay, and that's good. All right, so students, there is our task 1, band 9 level response to this question. Again, the question was, when you're at home, make sure to do this, review the question and review what you wrote. You notice that cars are driving too fast near the playground next to your house. Write a letter to City Hall. In your letter, explain the situation. Describe why this worries you. Suggest possible solutions. Okay, we met all of those requirements. Our letter says, Dear Traffic Control, I'm a local resident on 36 Pine Avenue, just across from Windsor Park, and I'm writing to inform you of a safety hazard for children, pets, and adults who use the playground. Simply put, cars are driving extremely fast near the park. I have been living at this residence for 2 years, and during this time, there have been several concerning incidences. Firstly, I would like to point out that there's an absence of street signs which clearly shows drivers the speed limit and the nearby playground. Just 2 weeks ago, one of my neighbor's cats was run over because the commuter couldn't slow their car. This was extremely unfortunate, and it must be avoided in the future. For this to happen, I strongly recommend speed signs that slow vehicle operators to no more than 30 kilometers per hour. Notice that quantitative language. That really helps to increase that band score. In addition, for the safety of children, speed bumps ought to be constructed on the surrounding streets. When there will be speed bumps and traffic lights installed, make sure to put in that important comma here. This is what you want to do at home. It will be better for both residents and authorities. Until this time, I highly suggest stationing traffic police on the corner of Pine Avenue and 2nd Street to warn and penalize speeders. I strongly urge you to take action as soon as possible to avoid serious tragedy. I look forward to your reply and appreciate your mission to safeguard our precious community. Sincerely, Adrian. Okay. Firstly is okay, Carlos, but you don't need to do that. You don't need to use it, but it does make sense, Carlos. If you want, you can take it out. You can say, hey, Adrian, I think it's better without firstly. So let's take that out. Sure. I honestly don't like using words like firstly, secondly, thirdly. They're better used in process essays that outline the steps in a process, but I won't get into that. That's for academic IELTS. All right, students, that's it for this General IELTS Task 1 class. Tomorrow, we will be doing Speaking Part 3, practice and exercise with some original questions. Again, remember to join us on our websites. Lots of people do every day, and they are happy for it, improving their band scores. Again, Academic IELTS, blue background, big red button, click it, aehelp.com. And for General IELTS, green background, big red button, click it, join it. Lots of videos, 6 practice exams, fully interactive course, help with writing, speaking. So join that. definitely keep watching these live sessions. I'm here to help you. Again, if you have questions, you can send me an email. You are very welcome, Abhi Jaswal. You're very welcome. Abhishek Pachu, you're very welcome. In 30 minutes, I will be starting a class on Academic English Help Channel. That's for academic IELTS. Today, we're kicking it off with speaking part 3 there. So that's the same for general. So if you're studying for general and you have time, check out the next class at Academic English Help for some speaking practice. Thanks, everyone. Have an awesome rest of your day. If it's late in your country and you're getting ready for bed, then have a good sleep. Wake up rested tomorrow, fresh, ready for another day. Bye for now. See you tomorrow.